Welcome back to another video, and this is my monthly makeup review video for the month of September. Welcome back, and after this video has also been put on a hiatus, we're doing my collective makeup review video for the month of September. So every month, unless there is some kind of dedicated review video that I prioritize before this one, I usually do a collective makeup review video where I review all the other products except eyeshadow palettes that I do in a separate video. The eyeshadow palette review video is already up on my channel. I think despite this being titled a September review video, I might not get this up until October because the change of the month is going to be in the middle of the upcoming week when I'm going to be posting this one. So we might get this technically on the side of October, but this is truly like my September review video. Happy to say this is most of the products were at least good, so how we're gonna be doing this is that I'm first gonna show the fails, which are the products that I would absolutely not recommend. Then we have the meh products which kinda do work out, but I still wasn't like completely happy with them. Then we have the good products that I think are good staple products. And then we lastly have a category of like absolute favorite products, so products that you're probably gonna see in my end of the year review video. So mostly we had good things in this one, but there were a few products in the don't buy category and meh category. And because we have quite a few things, because it's been quite a while since I reviewed some of these, let's just start talking about the actual products in this video. So first is a fail, not because of the formula, but because of the fact that this didn't look nice on me. So MUA brought out their variation of this sort of like lip gloss, or this is more what I would say, this is I think more of a lipstick formula rather than being a gloss formula, but this is basically I think their take on this shimmery lip products, and I think you can kind of also see it already when I'm showing this close that this has a very strong gold sparkle to it. And I do have quite a few, I have like bit comparable products. So for example, I have these Catrice releases, these holiday lipsticks every year, and this also is a formula that has like golden sparkles to it. But comparing like for example these two with the Catrice one, the gold flakes are more finely milled into the formula, so it is more of a subtle sparkle effect. However, unfortunately, why the MUA product is ranking in the sort of fail category is that I think the gold shimmer is in such a large quantities, at least with this particular shade. So the shade of this one was, what was this called? I think it's quite small. I'm gonna post the shade name in the description box, but with this particular shade that I tried, there's so much gold sparkle in it that it looks very funny compared to my particular skin undertone. I'm someone who has a cool rosy undertone, so that maybe affects why this also doesn't look the greatest. I think maybe on a warmer tan skin tone this could actually look like quite a nice shade, but if you are someone who has a fair skin tone like I do, this shade will collide quite harshly with like the rest of your complexion. So that is the reason why this is going to the fail category. This just doesn't look nice on me. I think what I'm gonna, because I do think the formula of this one is actually quite nice. It is more what I would say a lipstick rather than be this sort of like lip gloss formula that we have seen on these stick formats now for quite some. We actually do have the Makeup Revolution one coming later in this video. It is more like a concrete lipstick, and it has I think more opaqueness, and it isn't so slippery or slidey on the lips as some of the like glossy stick formulas that I have been like very popular on the market. So I think what I'm gonna do is that I am going to be maybe buying another shade that I hope is gonna maybe have a better suiting, it suits maybe better my complexion. So this is a fail just because it doesn't look good on me. But in terms of the formula, I do think if you are looking for a shiny lipstick formula that has a bit of sparkle from a drugstore, then maybe maybe look into these, just maybe see that if there are testers available and swatch them out to see how they suit your particular complexion per shade. Then the second one, unfortunately, we have another mascara. This is the e.l.f. Incredicurl mascara. That's difficult for someone who doesn't speak English as their first language. And this is the mascara I'm wearing, and I'm gonna be popping with this one. You're gonna be also seeing close-up picture from the lashes. I think this is more of a volumizing mascara, but for me, why this is failing is that it is incredibly like chunky formula. and can show the mascara one close by, so I think it can kind of maybe shows that it is very clumpy formula. And I do feel that this gets messy quite quickly, so I can show that like how the tube is looking. I have to wipe the tube constantly because otherwise I have mascara chunks like everywhere with the rest of my makeup sort of basket. And I think while this does build volume to a certain extent, I don't think the name, because the name has curl to it, but at least on my lashes, it just makes them look straight. It doesn't curl them, luckily, unlike the Essence mascara, that was like even worse than this one. This doesn't weigh my lashes down technically, but it doesn't also like lift them or do anything else to them. So this, I think, if you're only looking for maybe a volumizing mascara that gives you thickness, then this could be a good one, but for me it's too clumpy. It's too hard to work with, and I don't think it does like the things to my lashes that I want mascaras to do, because I have a lash type that I need the mascara to do length, I need it to volume, I need it to lifting, I need it to do curling, and while this kind of takes care of the volumizing part, it doesn't do anything else. And also this you could only like build this a couple of layers, and then after that it really didn't build on itself. So it's not the kind of formula that, at least on my use, I couldn't build it. So this is another product that is a fail, and I'm also gonna be decluttering this one after the review video, because it's no use for me keeping a mascara that I don't like. Then we're getting to the meh category. So these products did work, but they weren't perfect. So I think this is gonna be this is the second Rare Beauty that kind of goes to meh category. The bullet lipstick was actually like terrible. This is their Bouncy blush, and this is what has kind of like gotten us so many Bouncy blush formulas that we're now seeing every brand launching. And I was kind of like hoping that I would, especially because the shade Hope, I was kind of thinking that's gonna be a very beautiful muted, this sort of reddish shade, and the shade is kind of nice, but I did try the Essence variation of this kind of Bouncy blush formula, and with that one I said that it was pretty dry and hard to pick up. This isn't as dry as the Essence formula, but I do feel that I still have to work with this a bit more than I would like, considering that this is also already a bit more expensive of a brand. This does give a nice matte effect to your cheek. We are gonna be having a Bouncy blush formula in the good category, but I don't think they are directly comparable with this one. We're gonna be talking about that later. But reviewing this formula, this is better than the Essence one, so yeah, it's kind of maybe more worth its price, but it's still maybe... It's just not formula that I'm into, which is a bit strange, because I usually like my matte blushes, but it doesn't also kind of give out, because with some matte blushes you get this kind of good pigmentation, but they also have this like very strong blurring effect, and you also they are easy to work with. And with this one I do feel that you kind of had to work with it a little bit. It did give a matte finish, but it didn't get the sort of like blurring effect that some matte blushes do. And while the shade is nice, this is like a formula that I could also do without, obviously, because I did get this one all the way from traveling, and I do still like this shade. I am gonna keep this around, but this is not I like the Rare Beauty's liquid blushes much more. We're gonna be talking about the liquid highlighter later in this video, and that just shows how much I am liking the formula, but I would say that my favorite so far from Rare Beauty are the liquid blushes. I don't think this is, at least from my personal preferences, as good, but if you are kind of looking for a more matte blush format and something that is long lasting, then this could be a good option, but I also think their liquid blushes are quite long lasting. Second one in the meh category is this one. So this is Makeup Revolution's variation of their glossy stick. So this is what Fenty made famous, and this truly is a very glossy stick. I do like the shade of this one. I like how this looks on my lips when I use it, but unfortunately this is so emollient that I literally had a chunk of this one coming off to my lip when I initially applied it, because it's so soft. You really have to be careful when you use this, that you don't go over in terms of your lip line, and it's just because it's so emollient, you have to be very careful, because otherwise you get a gloop of a lip product onto your lips. This is even worse than the Tarte Maracuja lip glosses, and those are known for being very gloopy, but this is even worse than that one. The only reason why this is sticking into my collection is that because I do like the shade. Once you do get this on, do get a even layer of this on your lip, it gives almost a blunting effect without it actually being this sort of lip product that stings or hurts your lips. So the finish of it is very beautiful. I do like the fact that it has pigment to it, and this particular shade is very beautiful. It's this sort of rosy pinkish shade that has a bit of warmth to it. It is very suits my complexion for some reason, even though it's a bit more of a warm toned lip product. But unfortunately the formula, because you have to be so careful when applying this one, it goes to meh category. I'm not going to be buying any more shades, and I'm very much now considering, because I would still like to try the Fenty Beauty gloss sticks, especially the shimmery ones, because I've seen that the sparkly ones, they look very beautiful. But if it's any kind of close to this one, if the Fenty ones are also emollient like this one, then I'm kind of thinking that do I really want to buy even more expensive product that I have similar issues with. If someone has tried the Fenty gloss sticks, especially the shimmer ones, comment below, are they gloopy like this one is? Because this one truly, like, you really have to watch out when you apply this that you don't go overboard, because otherwise it's going to be very heavy on the lip. Now to the good category. So these are all good products, but they necessarily, well, they are good products. Some I like more than others, but there are also some things why they aren't in the absolute fave. So first one, my first ever Makeup by Mario product, because it's a brand that I can't unfortunately access easily, because in Europe it's mostly a Sephora exclusive brand, and if you don't have a Sephora in your country, tough luck. So this is sort of, what was the shade of this one called? Sculpt Soft and Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum, and this was in the fairest shade. I think this is an okay formula. It is a bit on the more like buildable side, and I think for many people this might actually be a very nice sort of bronzing or contouring formula to use, because it's more on the buildable side. But is this going to be something that I think is worth its price, because this is almost like 50 euros if you buy this, at least in European Sephora, so it's not exactly cheap. And I do think that I have like liquid bronzing and contouring products that have been more inexpensive and basically do the same job. So in terms of formula, it's not bad. I do think it's a nice, very beautiful formula. The shade is a bit too brown leaning for my taste, but okay, it's not like that bad, and because it is a more of a buildable formula, you have much more control over this one. But I don't just necessarily think that this is worth its price. I am obviously going to use this up because this does work and it looks beautiful once you get this on your skin, but I think there are other liquid sculpting and contouring products that I have that are like cost way less money than this one and basically do the same job. Similar to the category of things that I think that are nice, but I'm not so sure would I say that they make me want to try more from the brand. So this is the infamous YSL face palette. This has now just launched in the US, and in Europe also there was the fact that this was apparently only available, I think, on one retailer. It was Perfume Dreams, which is a German online retailer. Unfortunately, the way they shipped this was actually pretty awful. I'm surprised I got my palette intact. You can watch my whole video from this month, and I'll be like in the whole video I'll be like not this month but from the whole video from last month, because I already got this during the last month. But you can in the whole video like I basically go through that way this was still worked for me, and it was very concerning when I got the package, because I was thinking that okay, the palette is probably broken, but luckily everything was in one piece. In terms of formulas, I have never tried YSL's highlighter or blush formulas, so this was a first try for me. I don't know is this exactly the same formula that they have in the individual blushes and highlighters, but I would assume maybe it's at least close. In terms of high-end blushes, this is more of a pigmented formula, which can be good and bad depending on your preferences. I don't mind a more pigmented blush formula. And I think these shades, like, I could use all these shades. That itself is a bit concerning, and it just shows that you can't make one face palette covering all shades, because you would think that I would not supposed to be able to wear at least the deepest shade in this one, but I can wear all the blush shades just fine. With the shimmers, this highlighter here was something that I used as a blush topper with the orangey one. This is obviously too deep of a highlighter for me. The other two highlighters do work quite well. My favorite is this one over here. It is a nice pink leaning highlighter. I do like it. But in terms of the fact that this, I have now checked, and it seems that the going price for this one was 80 euros. Luckily, I managed to pay much less of this. I got this with a bit over 60 euros and with free shipping, so this was actually quite of a bargain. And considering that for a bit over 60 euros, there are like 3 YSL highlighters and blushes, it's a good deal. But this isn't the formula that I would necessarily go and buy out more shades, especially the individual ones, because the individual blushes and highlighters are quite expensive. So I think it's a nice formula, but I don't think it's anything to like, it's not anything extraordinary. I think the highlighters, especially in this one, they aren't the smoothest ones that I've tried, and especially I think at these price points I would expect the highlighters to be very smooth. They are like still nice looking. I don't think they emphasize textures that much, but they, like, I have had more smoother like powder highlighters from other brands. So I think in terms of value and being able to try the YSL powder formula, this was a pretty good buy, but I am not gonna be going out buying more YSL powder products based, at least trying this one, because it was good, but it wasn't like great. And with especially high-end and luxury brands, I expect, like, for me to go and buy more shades, I then expect the formulas to be great because I am paying extra. Then some Kiko Milano. I'm gonna have to be a bit careful how I'm gonna show this because I have my name engraved in this one. So my friend got the sweetest gift. My friend was visiting London, and apparently there they had a Kiko store where they do engraving. I'm gonna show the back side because they have the... So I have my very special custom made 3D Hydra gloss now, which is very sweet. And in the front there's my actual real name engraved in it, so that's why I'm looking like this. So this is the shade 15. This is actually the first non-glossy one because non-shimmery one, because all the other 3D Hydra glosses I have are shimmery. And I think as a red lip gloss, this works just as well as the other 3D Hydra glosses. This doesn't have the shimmers in it, but if you are looking more for a gloss, this is nice. It is more on the more pigmented side. I would advise using a lip liner with this one. I actually did get a red lip liner, which I'm gonna talk after this one, because without a red lip liner, at least on my particular like lip and skin tone, this actually almost put neon pink rather than being a red. But with a red lip liner, at least on my skin tone, it did hold the red color. This did bleed out a little bit. I do think that you do have to look out for this one a little bit because it is essentially just a very glossy and pigmented red lip product, but it is just as good as the other 3D Hydra lip glosses, and I'm just very excited that I've found like my own 3D Hydra gloss that has my name in it and a heart engraving. This was a very nice gift. Then there was a lip liner, so I think this was one from one of their limited edition collections. So this is, what was this one called? Precision Booster lip liner. So this is one of the retractable ones, and then this I think was from one of the limited edition collections. So I don't think this is available that widely anymore. It's a good red lip liner. I'm actually pretty happy that I did get this one because the previous red lip liner, I think I had to declutter that one because it was just so old. I don't wear... Red lips is a seasonal lip product for me, so I mainly wear red during Christmas time. So I've been now, of course, this was in my rotation, so obviously I have been testing this out like now, but usually red is a color that I reserve for Christmas season. But it's a good red lip liner. It stays in put, and I mean it just gets the job done. I feel that it was pretty easy to apply. And the only minus why maybe this isn't in the Fave category is that I like the sharpenable ones and not these retractable ones, so that's just like a preference. But in terms of the fact that this does the job very well, and also Kiko's lip liners are not that expensive, so even if you're not able to get this particular one, but I think they have retractable lip liners in their other collections, so you're probably able to get something similar even if this particular one isn't that widely available anymore. What else are we having? Then something from MUA. So this is a relatively new one. So this is the Beauty Balm, and this is a sculpting shade. So they brought out a range of these Beauty Balm sort of small sticks. These are very inexpensive. We're gonna be talking about a blush later. So why this is first in the good category and not great? Unfortunately, the packaging of this sculpting shade, this is broken, and it broke basically on the first day that I tried this. Why this isn't the good and not in the Fave category other than the packaging, I think it's in terms of shade match, this is, I think, a very good shade. So it is a more, hopefully the camera is showing, so it is a more sort of cool tone sculpting shade. So this is exactly what I want from my sort of sculpting products. But I do feel that I have to work with this one a bit more, so it's not the smoothest of like cream stick bronzers or contours that I have. I think this is quite similar to the Be Perfect contour stick that I have in my collection. But I think if you're shopping in a drugstore, I actually think that these smaller, like, yeah, the packaging might be a bit flimsy, so just be aware of that one. But in terms of formula, I think if you're looking for something in drugstore and MUA is accessible to you, I would maybe look into this, because I do think, even if the sculpting shade particularly was something that I had to work with in terms of formula, I do think it still is quite a nice formula for the drugstore. Then from LH Cosmetics, so aside from trying their eyeshadow palette recently, I did try one of their stick blushes. I think this is in the shade Muse, so it is a more, another muted. I've been very into my muted reddish shades, just saying. This goes to again category of products that, considering the prices, I think this goes around 30 something euros is the full price of this one, so it's not the cheapest ones. The packaging could be a bit more elevated, I will say that one, because while this is a bit like, it is heavier plastic than the MUA one, but it's still not like this kind of moves around when you shake it like that. So this doesn't feel the sturdiest of plastic packaging, so I would maybe hope that they would upgrade the packaging just a little bit to warrant the price. But this works very nicely. It is a very nice smooth stick cream blush. I usually dab this with like go directly for this one with my brush and then dab it on my cheek. Works very nicely. I think this is a more what I would say satin leaning shade. And yeah, nothing bad to say about it, but just I think considering that LH Cosmetics is a more expensive brand, I would maybe hope that the packaging could be upgraded a little, because this does feel a bit, it feels a bit flimsy at times, but the formula very nice and works very well. Then I think what I would say is the favorite from the sort of good product. So this is surprising. So The Makeup Revolution brought out their Bouncy blushes, and these are meant to be a bit similar than the Rare Beauty Bouncy blushes, but actually I think this is a bit different. So I think this is more, first of all, the Rare Beauty one, I'm gonna actually show these side by side so you can kind of get that. So the Makeup Revolution one, it has been now pressed, the dome has been a bit pressed down because I've been using it, but you can see that this has been more of a sort of baked dome kind of format, but these are pressed into the band, so that's the first one. Also, why I think this is clearly different actually from the Rare Beauty one, that this is more glowier, and I actually have swatched out some of the other shades in store because these did become available also in our retailers. And I think all of these shades across are like glowier rather than being matte. And I think that because these are a bit more glowier, these actually look like these go on, I feel smoother. I feel that I didn't have to go with my brush so often to the pan to get the product. I think this was pretty much a one swipe and go kind of product. And I think this looks a bit more smoothing on the cheek, but I think it's more related to the fact that it's more glowing, it's a bit more glowier formula. So I think the glowier formula kind of does the more sort of has the bit better blurring effect than the matte formula that's on the Rare Beauty ones. I don't think in terms of formulas these are exactly duping each other, because while they are both advertising with this kind of bouncy blush, or people are saying that they are bouncy blush formulas, but I think in terms of like the formula this is a bit different than the Rare Beauty one, even though they're kind of like going with the bouncy blush advertising. I have to say I did like this one more because I do feel this was easier to work with than the Rare Beauty one, and I actually kind of maybe also like the rosy pink shade a bit more. It is on the like, it is glowy, so it isn't like shimmery glowy, but it's definitely like satin glowy. And if you don't like a super glowy blush, then maybe don't go into this one, because with these ones the glow is pretty obvious. It's not a subtle glow, it is definitely like a glowy blush. But from the good products, I think this goes to the like, this was like almost a favorite, but because it is still like still on the like glowier side of things, I think that's why it went to the good category rather than the favorite category. Then the absolute favorites. So with the sort of summer holidays for purchase, I did get a mini of the Rare Beauty liquid highlighters because I was so impressed with the liquid blushes. This is beautiful. It's such a smooth liquid highlighter. It doesn't lift the makeup underneath. It's almost like it has the similar glaze effect that the Essence highlighter had that I did recently try on my channel. This is beautiful, and I'm very happy that you're able to get a mini of this one, though now it's a bit of shame that I didn't get a mini, because this is not a brand that I can access that easily, so maybe I should have gotten a full size, but I didn't know would I like this one, so that's why also getting the mini was good. It is very effortless to work with, it blends very easily, but it doesn't blend away, and I think this just looks so smooth on the cheek, and then someone who already has texture on their cheekbones, that's a must. So I think if you've been eyeing these Rare Beauty highlighters, these liquid ones, I would give them a try, because for me this was a hit, and this is definitely going to your early favorites. Then a bit surprising though, this is the blush that I got from the MUA sort of like new launch. So this is the Beauty Balm blush, and I think mine is in the shade Berry Blush. There are more than one shades in this line, but I think our retailer only had this very glowy one. It's a glowy blush, but I'm actually not gonna be, I'm not that mad about it, because this looks so smooth on my cheeks. I don't know what they actually put in the formula. This is even better than the Makeup Revolution blush that I showed in the good category. Like there is something very special about this formula. I'm a bit unsure like how they are able to do this kind of formula at a drugstore pricing, because it's such a more buildable formula, which is something different. So I have tried the MUAs like liquid blushes that are kind of in the sort of tube packaging, but those are like more what I would say pigmented blushes. This is more buildable one, and I think this is one that is what makes this such a great one, because it has the sort of nice buildability that you do have to control in this one, but it also gives a very smooth and blurring effect, and this is such an like effortless product to work with. And I'm also gonna give like bonus points. It's very inexpensive. This is something that is most likely gonna be accessible to a lot of different type of consumers. Only thing I would say, again, this has the similar packaging than the sort of Sculpt shade had, so just be careful when you use this because the packaging might not last. But in terms of formulation, this was like this is one of the best blush formulas that I have tried in a good while, and also with stick blushes, because I have not always been a fan of stick blushes. Some of them just don't work out, some of them are very hard to work with, but with this one it's just something very easily and effortless in this one, and it looks so nice on cheek. Like it seems that this somehow makes all of the texture on my cheek disappear, which is something I can't say from many blushes these days, and it's just like what it is when you are someone at my age already. But yeah, very surprised how much I'm liking this one. If you're able to try this, I would like just go and get one shade and see what you like, how you like it. But for me, this was a surprising favorite, considering that MUA's products, they've been like pretty decent quality, but not all of them have been a hit. But this is definitely a hit from them. That was my monthly review video. Comment down below, have you tried any of these products, or if there's been some kind of other products that you've been trying out recently, what have been your sort of favorites and why. If you like this video, push the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell button if you're getting notifications from our future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog on Instagram. I hope I can see you in that video. Bye bye!